And hello, I'm going to be doing a test run right quick. The class doesn't actually start until 7, but just doing a little test run. Let's see, evening. Okay, let's see what I got. Yay, so it's working. Test sheet. Mic is on. Okay, I'm just going to discuss some of the childcare dilemmas that I've faced in my career giving child care. Okay, let me get this, so knock this off. Not very organized right now, but I'll get there. Okay, here we go. Okay, some of the child care dilemmas. A high turnaround rate for the teachers would be a problem. And I'm going to be doing a ranting and raving on this topic, child care dilemmas. Today is December 13th, 2018. The topic is child care. We are going to just jump right in. One of the first questions you want to ask yourself is, what can you offer the customers or the clients that no other center has offered? So mine turned out to be affordable prices, longer stay, and a creative curriculum. The prices are affordable. It helps to have a sliding fee scale that helps some of your parents that can't afford extremely high costs. Let's see, some of the customers I've had, teachers, doctors, lawyers, and anyone needing care. Actually, it doesn't matter your income. I take everyone in. Some of the payment options, we have the child care assistance, have cash paying. I used to do credit cards, debits. We have late fees that are due if you haven't paid your payment at the beginning of the week. The rules and regulations are some of the dilemmas of child care. Parents, some of them don't actually read so I'm just going to touch on a few of the rules and regulations. Like, if your child is ill, pick them up on time. If they're having a bad day, we'll document it. A child that's very unruly. Let's see. If your child is allergic to any foods, you will need a doctor's excuse on their letterhead. It's a ton of things you actually need. So I have them written down, but I don't want to take too long on certain topics. So you have to have the training, the teachers training, the yearly trainings. along with the directors. We have the incomplete paperwork. Some parents in a haste go through their documents and paperwork, filling out the information, but they fail to fill it all out. And this is a problem because when licensing comes in, they'll write the centers up for it. Let's see. Pick that up. Well, we know they have the menus posted. If your child is ill or he or she appears to be ill, don't bring them to the center because it's considered a health risk for the other children at the center. But once you're called, you need to pick that child up within a standard time, not all day, leaving them in the care to make the other children ill. But those are some of the topics. Now, the concerns were some of the rules and regulations, time, picking them up, dropping them off, who's picking up the child, filling out a third-party release form. Actually, I was also going to discuss if you're going to try and do an in-home child care business. So that's some of the topics we were going to discuss. And if there's any questions, of course, you can put them in the comment section. I'll probably have it better laid out for you, but also have a packet that have the rules and regulations from actual licensing. And if you want to get on the food program and also the CAPS, they have information on how you go about that. You can go through the right from the start. Early education, Louisiana early education system to enroll in that program. Okay. And if you all have any comments, like I say, put them in the comment section. We've already discussed the type of customers or clients. You have rude ones, you have easy to get along with ones. You have the ones that are in and out so fast you never actually get to speak with them. But it all boils down to you have to keep an open line of communication. Otherwise, there will be some misleading information out there because a person will start to believe that you're doing something wrong or you don't want to speak to them. So it's best to try and keep it open. And the type of advice I would give you if you're going to start out in home is make sure you have all your documentation and the zoning laws and everything in place. Yeah. Sorry about that. And this is they have actually a lot of information on actually getting everything you need to do in-home childcare because you have to go through the rules and regulations and the zoning along with the fire marshal, background checks and all that. So there's a little process. Of course, everything has a process in order to start. Then you do advertising. So you got to pick out how you want to actually start. You can come up with your name and go from there, or you can do like I did. Put it on credit cards and see how you fall. And boy, did I fall. So that's why here it's 30 or 40 years later, and I've learned a lot and picked up a lot of things that you can and don't want to do in childcare. But the main one is keeping an open line of communication. Okay, let's see. Should be about time to start. Let's see. We still got a few more minutes. I'm just rambling right now. Okay, let's see. It's not quite 7 o'clock. It's only 6:49. My lighting is really off. Let's see. Some of the childcare dilemmas is why do you get hassled if you're late picking up your child? We'll have where did your teacher go? Meaning you have another teacher in or a substitute. You want to know what your child is eating, how safe are they? And that's where licensing comes in, where they do the annual checks and the pop-up visits where they'll check. And then, like I said, when the child is ill, pick them up, and lost items. And of course, keeping your paperwork, files, all in order because that becomes a write-up as well. I have a 51 page packet that has all the rules and regulations for here in Louisiana and also for Georgia. But of course, unless you move into Georgia, they won't do you any good. And of course, there's a lot of information, so you would have to either download it off the website, Louisiana Believes, or the Louisiana Department of Education, Early Childhood. Quite a bit of information, so therefore you would have to download it. But I plan to give out some information on how I got started actually doing it. I did follow some of these rules and regulations, but the max you can have for in-home childcare is 6. Even if you have the 35 square feet per child, they don't look at that. You would have to either have a bigger location. If so, they don't really allow you to hire outside help. Whatever help you do hire, you have to have criminal background check on them. And the food program will not allow you to have any outside help helping you serve your meals because they will disallow the meal if someone else other than yourself serves your meals. So that's another issue. And you have the fees that you have to pay, Marshall, the food program, zoning, and the fees, if you're adding them up, they'll come up to a good $400 or $500, plus just a few other ones. But those are some of the fees you have to look at when trying to get it started. Of course, you can do advertising by flyers, word of mouth, or you can do one of the free websites. Web.com. You can do a website and put your information in on creating a website. And I don't think I'm gonna discuss for an hour about childcare, but I'm gonna possibly do it for 30 minutes, just hitting on some basics. And then if you're interested in trying to do it, you can either contact me, or even if you're looking for childcare drop off or anything like that, I have information after the class, or else you can contact TikTok Around the Clock Learning Center. It's 7 o'clock. Yeah, this quality video is so grainy. Whew. So I have different things you have to have posted. You know, your license capacity, your no smoking signs, your evacuation plan, hopefully your training, um, CPR training. You need to have something called a parent board in which you will place all these items on so that the parents have access to it. Uh, some of them require that you have um, literature or some type of information around so that the parents will have access to things such as flyers or SIDS and the poison control numbers and things of that nature. But if you work with children or did any kind of childcare, you know some of the things you possibly need. It's more the more things you'll need along the safety area, because they you have to do a safety check with the fire marshal. They'll give you a checklist of everything that needs to be done in your house. The outlets covered, the fire extinguisher up to date, the water temperature, and all that. You have to have an adequate parking spaces. So if you have 15 or fewer, the license for licensing is $25 for that yearly fee. If you can have 16 to 50 children, it's $100 for that fee, and it goes on up for there. But however, if you're operating without a license and you have over that amount, they will fine you per each offense. That's in this handbook. So if you don't have the children files in order with all the names, the emergency contacts, the necessary signed paperwork, they will charge you 100 to 150, and it goes up per each offense that you don't have addressed. And of course, back on the subject that I was on while I'm ranting on other issues. Um, when placing your child in any child care setting, you need to pay attention to detail. Say, for instance, make sure they have an adjustment period where the child gets to adjust, to see if they're able to uh, become comfortable with the setting. Make sure your price is comfortable. Make sure you know the rules in advance for different situations that may occur at the center. If after your adjustment period, say for instance, your adjustment period would be depending on the age of the child, um, maybe a month or whatever you're giving them the child to adjust. If they still hadn't adjusted, the caregiver might want to change a few things up and see if that helps the child to settle in, such as a toy from home, a blanket or something of that sort. If after this period, I'm talking from experience, if after this period they still are not adjusting, then something else may be going on. Separation anxiety. Some children develop that, of course, the need to be with the parents. But whatever you do, do not put the child down and sneak away from the child. Address the child, let the child know you're going to leave and that you will be back, and comfort them and everything and give their little hugs and be on your way. But sneaking out the door, closing the door, you give them a false sense of security. And my training in childcare has been with the technical college, a year and a half of the different programs they had, along with different centers I've worked at, and I noticed a lot of issues that they have that I have addressed in my centers. I know a lot of the rules in order to get the center started and up and going. It's just the main problem I'm seeing with centers or their staff leaving children, infants, children that can't talk and let you know they're still there, leaving them in the vans, vehicles, and of such. Well, I've never had that problem, and I don't understand how uh, they're doing it when you have to do your log check when you put the children on the bus, and you do another check when you take them off the bus. So that's all I have to say about that. But I think you'll get a lot of input out of this, or a lot of knowledge out of this. The Title 28 education um, packet that breaks down everything I'm saying. It tells you everything you need in each and every file. It tells you um, if it doesn't address the issue as far as making your handbook and doing all this thing, you can go and research, Google it, or even, you know, I have several packages and several different things on all this. So just ranting and raving on it. So I'm going to uh, give it about 15 minutes. That will give me enough time, oops, to finish ranting on just this small portion I have. Other than, I think I touched on everything I wanted to talk about, but I didn't go into detail because, like I say, if you're interested in childcare, you can either do one or two things. You know, take a child care course, or you can get the child care credential. I think it's called a CDA, and ongoing training with that. You can do child care off that, but you have to be at least, I think they said 18 years of age, and actually to do in home. You have a backup plan in case of emergencies. And everything right now may seem all out of place, but once you get the necessary paperwork and you start doing each step, everything will fall in place and you'll be on your way. Uh, Safety tips, you might want to have like an um, video camera system so that you can possibly keep an eye on your workers, because apparently if you have the vindictive type workers, you don't pay them enough, or they feel they're not getting what they deserve, they'll do things on purpose to sabotage your business. And speaking from experience, it does happen. Uh, I've worked for 5 or 6 different um, daycare centers, and a lot of them, do stuff that they're not supposed to be doing. And when you call them out or mention it to them, they'll, uh, well, next thing you know, you have a pink slip, because they don't want you telling their business, or even thinking I don't want to say more than they know, but some of the things that go wrong, if you lived it, yeah, you'll know what I'm actually talking about. If you start a center and don't have adequate staff, or your staff are not trained, and the child runs off the facility grounds, or different things of such. But that is some of the dilemmas you'll have. Um, Parents worry about their children, and you'll find that if the parent is not questioning or whatever, or being, all up in your face, calling all the time, or whatever, it's not that they don't care. They trust you if you're doing what you need to do. So try and give your parents as much support and any information they want to know, so that they will feel comfortable. And if the parent feels comfortable, the child will uh, follow. So with that being said, I'm